Hi everyone, welcome to Dave's Bonsai. On today's episode, some Korean firs get cleaned up. Welcome everyone under the big blue Colorado spruce to the east of the PSGF over there, and gonna work in the shade today. The sun is coming on a little bit. We had another deluge of rain the entire day on 4th of July. It kind of broke at about 7 p.m. so people had plenty of firework fun, extravaganzas going on, but a lot of things were canceled the day before because of the expected rain. I was able to go out to Bonsai Acres. So we're gonna go out there first before I tackle these guys, Korean firs. So out at Bonsai Acres, I have Korean firs, I have some balsam fir, Fraser fir, I also have white pines and red pine. So right now at Bonsai Acres, which is on my friend of the family, Neil Kruger Tree Farm, got that little plot of land. We'll go out there first and look at some of the trees that I just peeked at while I was out there, and I trimmed up a couple of Korean firs. Out at Bonsai Acres, cut off all the candles a couple weeks ago. Looks like the sacrificial branches are doing pretty well. This one here is one of the more healthy Korean pines out at the farm. I just wanted to clear off some of the bottom branches, that bottom part of the tree with the scraggly little branches. The mid and top section had some real thick branches. I want to get rid of those as well. And then just clean up a lot of the typical 3s down to 2s. It has a little more conical shape now and looking kind of more like a mini pine tree. My day out at Bonsai Acres was fantastic. The trees were looking really good, only one to be concerned about. So another reason why I went out there, not just to work on the trees, but I had my annual inspection by the Minnesota Department of Agriculture. So when you have a nursery license and you're growing trees in the ground in Minnesota, you have to have it inspected once a year. That's part of the fee for having the license to be a nursery. And so I met Matthew out there and he looked at my trees and everything's looking pretty good. Although he did find one bit of blight that I wanted to tell you about. So because I don't remember things really well, I just wanted to refer to my phone here, but I got some pictures to show you as well. He showed me this amazing book that I think I'm going to buy on my own. It's the Christmas Tree Pest Manual, and this book is amazing. So if you have any concerns of any bugs, any fungus, anything going on with your pines in your world, this tree book is pretty amazing. So the other part of this book that I took a snapshot on before I owned the book was the brown spot needle blight. Yeah, so one of the many fungus issues you can come up with is needle blight. And in this case, it's brown spot needle blight, or as he called it, the BSNB, which I had no idea what he was talking about, of course. The things you can look for: reddish brown, resin-soaked spots with yellow margins on the needles. Black fruit bodies flush with surface of the dead, dry needles on the tree or on the ground. And then some things in August to October, May to July. The biology behind it, monitoring and controlling, cut and immediately remove small pockets of severely diseased trees, treat trees within 30 feet of diseased trees with a registered preventative fungicide. So I have a little bit of brown spot needle blight on one of my white pines out there at Bonsai Acres. And so let's show you that tree right now. So I took a close-up of the one infected area. Now it's not the whole tree, but it's this small infected area, and look at these needles. We're down close to the stem of the tree, not the tip of the needle, but where it grows out. You can see the brown spot with kind of that yellow ring around some of those needles. So I can treat that, or I can just cut that branch off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off all the infected spots, and then I'll see if I can treat those trees as well. Now, I don't have a lot of heavy-duty sprays that I put on trees. I have all organic stuff, but I still could put some fungicide on there, organic insecticidal soaps, and just give that a spray with those trees right in that immediate area. So I will do that here very, very soon because I don't want to wait. But the one tree was affected on the one branch, and so with all this rain, you have to wonder if something has to do with that. And as I look at my trees in my yard too, it's just wet. We need some sun and we need some relief from all this moisture. So that's a great book. So check out the brown spot needle blight information on the amazing book there, the Christmas Tree Farm book. I'm going to order that myself and take a look at my trees and some of the issues and do some educating over the winter months, right? A good time to read. The Korean fir I worked on out there made it a little bit more of a conical shape, kind of looked back like a Christmas tree more than the bush that it was. And these two are also kind of bushy too, but I put these in the pot this year from Bonsai Acres, and look at the growth it's put on. It just shot on all this growth. Now part of that is also because I'm fertilizing. So you want to get your trunks thicker, you keep them in the ground. When you put them in a bonsai pot, you want to get back budding and more growth. You're going to fertilize heavy, heavy, heavy. And so I did that this year as I took these out of the ground. So I have a couple of low-lying branches here that we don't need anymore. Got my original tags on here. My research shows me that I put these in the ground in 2000. This is one of the original trees in the ground. And I have this blue tag that's almost starting to cut into the wood, kind of like a wire wood. It looks like I need to come in here. There we go. My blue tag has come off. Yeah, that was going to create a little damage down the road there. So look at that beautiful primary branch right there. Now the first back bud isn't until right here, a branch, but there's a new back bud right here. Too bad it's growing in towards the tree, but there's a couple right here and here too. And of course I could bend this and twist this around like this. But that's a pretty long branch before any branches. And I'm not going to wire these today. We're just going to kind of clean them up and see what's going on. So we'll look at this tree on the right first. And if you look up the tree, now this doesn't have to be the front of the tree either. This could be the front back here. I just put these in the pot this year from the farm. I'm going to cut out these two little dead branches, not getting any sunlight, kind of fading away. Maybe that's the better angle of that branch right there. And here, this branch right here that did grow down closer to the trunk could be swooped over that way. So that could be the front as well. And if that is the front, that is really an awkward branch. Now this branch is growing really straight up tall. It's amazing. It's hugging the trunk there for a good ½ an inch. And it's covering up that branch right there. But that's an interesting growth. When you cut that whole tree back, that could become the tree. But that would be years and years down the road. This could also be planted at an angle at some point. I'm not sure if straight up is going to be the future of this tree or not. So a lot of branches in here, lots to think about. I think this one is just going so kittywampus that we're just going to cut that one back for those younger. All that younger growth down here now can survive. And we got some growing up, some out, and we can fix that up over time. We're just going to leave that for right now. Now this branch back here is growing pretty nice. I'm just going to grow the one that's growing up. I'm going to cut that off. And then back here, I got a 3. I'm going to go down to 2. Right here as well, we got a 3, go down to 2. 3, I can go down to 2. These aren't very strong, huge growths, but I will do that on some of the branches. So we just clean that up a little bit. Yeah, this was an old back bud that didn't go so well. It'd have been nice if that had stayed. So we come up here and we got a big whirl of decisions up here. Look up here, we have 1, 2, and 3, and there's a 4th one back there. And that's where the chop point is, right here by my finger. There's the chop point from before. And if this is the front of the tree, we've got this nice growth going up here, and we've got this new apex. It's really super strong. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with these branches, but here we have a bar branch. And this is the big main primary branch right here, so I like this branch over here, so this one might come off. But then that's a big gap between there and there. That's a really pretty branch. I don't know. I'm going to cut this one off right here to promote these right here. We got 2 growing there, 2 and 2 there. I think I'm actually going to cut this one down and this one down. And we'll cut this up here down a little bit too to give some more light in there. There we go. So, yeah, what to do. And then there's also a branch back here. So this branch back here, right there by my finger, my tip of my scissors there, that's a nice upward growing branch. We got this big primary here. This could be the next primary, or this guy, depending upon if that survives, which is growing at a really interesting point. And it is down lower on the tree. So if we keep that one, it'd be left, right, left, and then back there. I don't know if that's strong enough to survive, but I wonder if we should try it. But then if I cut this big one off here, we have a heavy presence over here. I think I will shorten this. Got all that growth back there to work on future branching right here, all that stuff back there. So I envision this stuff's going to come off anyway. So if that's a primary branch, that's pretty beefy. So it does lend to take that one off next. But it's such a nice branch. What do we do? We're going to cut it off. And then if we cut that one off, I think we have to cut this one off. Because now we have left, right, and then the new apex up here, plus this branch back here. And that's so thick. See how thick this is back here? We're going to go ahead and cut it back. Cut that one down pretty heavily. And then we have this branch right here. So we have this branch, then this branch that kind of comes up and swoops back this way. And so this becomes the apex. Now here's a 3 down to 2. We talk about cutting down to 3s, or from 3s down to 2 right there. Which one do I keep? Plus there's a back bud right there. And if I cut this right now, it might promote some more back budding. And we got this guy over here that's kind of big. Now there's one in the back too. Let's show you this one right here. This piece is growing up. We're going to cut him off. This is going back. We're going to cut that off, and then we're going to cut this left one off to promote the growth back here. So with this tree out of the way, there's all that growth now, all kind of flat and moving outwards. So that's the problem of putting two trees that could be solo down the road in the same pot. They're kind of shade each other out. So I'm going to cut this horizontal one off in favor of this guy going up. And this is kind of sacrifice right here. Cut him off. And we just still have a little bit of a funky top here. And there is this branch growing right here too, so that's kind of nice. And as a matter of fact, we will cut that off in favor of this guy right here, because that can grow up, and if we have to wire it back here, there's our left, right, left, and a little bit of a right over here. So we're going to cut that off and get that closer for a better heel job. And then we've left this as our apex. When we plant this next, we might want to lean it back just a little bit more like that. And we have this tree going up this way with another branch, another branch. There's a bar branch. This is a bar branch to this one right here. So we take this guy off, and let's forget about this leader and go with that as the leader and cut him off. There we go. So we have a scraggly little tree, and hopefully that fills up over time. All right. How about that tree over on the right-hand side with the black on there? He might have been planted the year after, but they're both about the same thickness. So this one has a lot of skinny little wiggy branches on the bottom here, but there's a couple that are starting to thicken up. This one's got a real low thing here. We're going to take that off. This one was cut right here. We got 2 branches growing in there in its place. We'll cut off one of those. And then this again has a new back bud, and then the main branch, and then another branch right up above it. So here we go with 2. 1 and 2. Take that one out, and we just cleaned, and there's our primary branch for this tree. And we'll leave all that grow to get thickened up, because look at this guy up here. He's thicker than this down here, so this one has to catch up. We have to let this run and get super big. That means we're going to cut this one back down and see if we can do that. I think we can. Cut all that off. We'll let this one grow out and try to thicken up, and this could be a branch for the future. And what we just cut here, maybe we'll get some more back budding back in there. This one comes out at a weird junction in the front. We'll cut that right off. We got this beautiful new branch right here. So look at that branch right here, but it's next to this beautiful branch here, which is actually probably a better primary branch candidate than this one. And then we have a left right up here, but we have this one we can work on. So we're gonna cut this one way back to slow that guy down right here. And we'll either use this one, the new one, or this one. We'll see how it grows. And there's this one in the back that kind of flirts back there. Now this one's really super long, but it's got a nice branch that grew back in here. So we're just going to go ahead and cut it to that. And we have a little bit of a reverse taper up here. A little bit thicker up here, and it's probably because of that real thick branch. So it's good that we're slowing him down. Now, we have to decide here. We got a whole bunch of branches. We got 2 new branches here and here. So right there and there, there's 2 new branches back by the old branch. So do we keep the old branch or do we keep the young growth? Let's just cut the old branch back. 3s down to 2s and shorter. So we just get maybe some back budding there. And we'll see which one looks better next year between all of those. You see those? We got 1, 2, and 3. Those are all separate branches, but that'll be a whirl if we don't watch that, which will create a knuckle. Then we got all this thick growth back in here. So this is why I like the Korean pine or Korean fir of all the firs that I'm growing out there. I'm actually going to cut this one off. I like the Korean firs because they're back budding so well. I can just pick and choose which branches I like here. I like doing it off the front here, but I'm going to shorten it up a little bit here and promote this back here to see if that does good. Look at that right there. Back budding right there. All these are back buds and new growth this year. So this tree really wants to keep shooting up. So what we're going to do is we're going to chop off the top another section here and promote more in the bottom. So we had a big trunk that was the same thickness all the way up, so no taper at all. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get rid of that top branch right there. And we've got this as a leader, we've got this as a leader, this is a leader, that is a leader. So we have so much as a leader that I think we're going to go down one more section. And it comes to this weird back branch. We'll cut him off. Now this one won't survive, he's so close to the cut, but this one will, this one back here will, and this one will be our main focus for right now. All right, so we just cut off another 1 to 2 inches up there, and this becomes our new leader. We got a real thick tree, and then it gets real thin right there, so we actually have some kind of taper. And then we have to pick and choose still one branch up here that we want to keep, and I think we're going to take out this thick one right here. We'll go for these thinner ones right in here. Now we can choose which one stays alive for next year. So we have a little bit more of a conical shape on this one now. We made some early choices. I think this guy is just big. We're going to get rid of the 3 and go down to 2. This one is just a 2 already. But there's 3 branches growing right next to each other here, so we're actually going to cut that one off. There we go. We don't want any knuckles up there either. And there we go. We'll just leave that right there. We trim that guy. So this was bushy. We got rid of, on both of these trees, about half of the foliage. So the Korean firs are all cleaned up. We'll keep fertilizing this one the rest of this year, setting it up for making more buds to go push out for next season. The Korean firs are all cleaned up. A couple of them out at the farm and a couple of them right here in my backyard. The Christmas Tree Farm Manual. A lot of firs, a lot of pines, everything you could want, and all the bugs and the funguses. And we're gonna have to take care of the needle blight on those white pines out there at Bonsai Acres, and we'll have to do that here very, very soon. I might actually go out there later today. The tree's looking good. We need some more sun though. Pines like sun and don't like to sit in water. We need a lot of sun. The wind's helping to dry it out a little bit today, and the sun is kind of peeking out. But we have chances of rain coming up every other day again for the next couple of days. It just won't stop. So we have to figure out a way to dry off our trees. And a tip, if you don't know this, if you got a big pot like this and it's staying too wet in a pine tree, put a stone under here and let all the water soak to one side and then drip it out, and then maybe go the other side so one tree isn't getting more wet than the other. So a tip there to finish up the show. All right, we're gonna put this one back out in the sun, what little is shining today. Hey, take care of you, take care of your bonsai, and we'll catch you on the next one.